everyone. I'm here today on Carol and Topol Talk to interview Marie Wilson and Kyle Lowder, who will be starting the new season of Ladies of the Lake in just a couple of weeks. So,
Wow. Wow.
June 19th is the big day, so it's
Yes,
coming soon.
very soon. I can't believe you said a couple of weeks. It always seemed like it was kind of like off in the future. And when you just said a couple of weeks, I think that's the first time I heard that it's like within a couple of weeks.
So now, how long ago did you tape the season?
What was it, January?
Yeah.
It was like late January, early February. It was like 2 weeks and change, late January, early February. Yeah.
Oh wow! So that has been a while. So I could imagine you thinking, "Wow, it's coming, it's coming whenever it comes."
Well, I think it's one of those moments where you spend so much time, you shoot the whole thing, and then you go through post production, and then you can't really set a date until you have an idea when and everything is going to be done. But like I just said, it always seems like some distant thing that will that you're always going to be looking
Okay.
forward to. And I think we finally got to that point that we're ready to share it with the world, and so that's terrifying in every way.
Okay.
I actually thought it would be later on because, with all the editing and there's so much work after the
Yeah.
shoot that I'm surprised it's, happened so quickly.
We had a huge, we had a lot of enthusiasm and excitement from the people who watched the first one and the fans and whatnot, that we obviously in no way rushed anything, but there was this sense of let's work hard and get it out as soon as we can without, let's make haste, but let's not make sloppy, if that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense. I happen to have seen the first season, and I'm one of those people that once I watched it, I saw that it was broken into four half-hour segments, approximately. But it played like a movie. I just went from one segment to the next because I couldn't stop.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell us a little how this would?
I know. If we could so humbly say so, yeah. Season two is it's a very different animal from season one. The pace is a lot faster. The plot really drives forward very
Okay.
quickly. The scenes are not as long. You have shorter scenes and a lot more of them. There's a lot more twists and turns with the characters and things like that. So it's and that was the idea. The first one was a lot about introducing these characters and their backstory and how they got to the point where they are right now, and a lot of exposition and things like that. Now that everybody has been established and all of their problems and trials and tribulations and everything, now we have all that stage set. Now we drive through a really kind of explosive plot line. And in fact, it was originally going to be 4 episodes, but we figured that if we cut it into 3, because it's a 3 episode miniseries for season 2, because we felt that we didn't want to break it up as much. We wanted to drive right through it.
Is it the same length, however?
More or less. I don't know exactly the length of it, but more or less the same length as the first season.
I mean, I know it shows to be like a mini series, is how it's sort of put out there, and I think it runs like a movie.
Well, thank you. I also think that I appreciate that. I mean, that's kind of the idea that with the advent of streaming nowadays, you can watch subsequent episodes back to back to back, as opposed to watching an episode and waiting a week for the next one to go around. So yeah, people watch it back to back to back. The whole idea was that it would kind of read like that. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, a pleasure. It's a pleasure to watch. Now, both of you have histories on soap operas, as do, I believe, almost all of the cast as well. Um,
Yeah, everybody.
I would love to hear from both of you. What is the difference between taping a show like this versus taping a soap? I mean, was this did you have more time for scenes, more rehearsal?
Definitely more time.
Slightly.
and the ability for the directors to use different cameras and
Yeah, I know.
different shots and just be more creative, which adds more fullness to the scenes, and it's with the same people, and you hopes you feel that way as well. But you know, you could have more takes, and if you don't feel good, you could ask for another one. It's very laid back, and there's no pressure. But you know, we were all working to do the best we could, and yeah, I think the time and the creativity is the difference between the two genres.
You know, to speak to what Marie just said, I think it's all very kind of a breath of fresh air for people that have ever worked in the daytime drama genre, if you will, that the pace is just so quick. You know, you have to shoot, what are they, like 100 pages in a day now?
Yes.
Which is insanity for anybody who's ever been an actor, you know, on screen. But that's what you got to do. But it's set up very different. You know, in that genre, you have 3 cameras, you know, and the lighting is pretty much pre-rigged and things like that. So it's almost like, you know, rehearsed theater on camera with soap opera. But with this, as Marie was just saying, you have one camera and many, many different angles that the director and our director of photography and our cinematographer kind of set up. So, and we only shoot probably 6 to 8 pages in a day, really. And what that does is that, you know, if you have a 2-character scene, you'll take what's called, you know, one actor's coverage, and then you'll do the scene 4 or 5 times, make sure you get it perfect or as perfect as you can try to get it. And then you change the lighting, reverse the shots, and then you get the other actor's coverage. Then you do what's called a master shot. Now, I don't want to bore you with all the details, but the point you do the scene, you end up doing the scene like 20 plus times, you know, and you have a chance to kind of perfect and find nuances and colors within that scene. The lighting is very specifically set up for each shot that you do. So you have a lot more time, you know, between the cast and crew and the director and the producers and everybody, you have a lot more time to really, you know, chip away at a particular scene, which is very refreshing. You know, when you're putting something out there, you want to have as much time as you want or can have with it. So it's very refreshing for the actors, because I think we were just saying every single actor in this season has had significant experience in soap opera. So I think for all of us, at least in front of the camera, it's a very refreshing thing when we're like, you don't have to do a scene and then just say, okay, you know, we got to move on. Like, you can really dive into it.
Now, I know that the original series was based on a novel. Does this extend beyond that? And will we see sort of further than where the novel would have ended, so to speak?
Yeah. Yes. The first season was the novel, and then when Mr. Ken Corday, you know, the owner of Days of Our Lives, executive producer, and our boss for Ladies of the Lake as well, who also wrote the novel Ladies of the Lake, we worked with him on season 1 when Michael Caruso, our writer and executive producer, was adapting his book for season 1. But the point is, season 1 ended, and that's where the book ended. So when we talked to Ken about season 2, and he approached us and said, let's get to work on it. Yes, we had to come up with an original story for season 2. So Michael Caruso and I sat down and it's one of those, you know, steno pads out, late nights, a lot of pacing back and forth here in the downtown hunting lodge, as you can see. Complete with animals and dogs.
Yes,
we came up with the rough story of what it was going to be, and then, you know, I disappear, and then Michael Caruso, who was really the writer, let's be honest, in this situation, not me, he goes to work and he fleshes it out and writes the dialogue, and he wrote the script. But yeah, we came up with, beginning to end, it's all an original plotline.
So, because it seemed that there were also some new characters we'll be seeing.
Very much so, yeah. Very much so. Yes, she's happy. Yeah, she's got a great co-star. Well, both of them are awesome, but the one she works with most of the time, Rob Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Mark Samuel and Rob Wilson. You know, Mark Samuel being from GH fame, and Rob Wilson, of course, Days of Our Lives fame. And you know, the idea for the second season was, you know, in season 1, the men that we had, you know, they had their cameos. They basically showed up, they were a douchebag husband, and then they were killed. So we wanted to have 2 really awesome, edgy, strong male season regulars in this season. So I think we got 2 great guys to do it.
Very well done.
Yeah.
Very well done. Yeah.
So that was important for us.
Now, Kyle, you play a role that's, you weren't one of the husbands. You were the detective. Are you still going to be the detective in this?
Yes. I don't know how much I want to throw in there because my particular part in this is very kind of cliffhanger plot driven. So I'll just say yes, I'm in it.
Okay.
Moving on.
And Marie, you played Morgan, and you were one of the widows.
Yes. Still am. Yes.
Yes. But her husband is missing, though.
Yes.
He's still missing.
He's missing.
Are we still missing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're putting that in quotes.
Got it. So are we going to still get that campiness that we got the first time, or are we more totally drama driven?
I'm going to let you answer that, and I'll say it as well.
I don't think it's as campy.
Okay.
I think it's a bit more drama driven. What do you think? That's the feeling I got anyway with my scene.
It's a great question because this was kind of our initial, when we sat down and said, okay, we got greenlit for season 2. What is this going to be? And try to make a very long story short, but I think the general idea was to say, let's not change the brand because the first one was very well received, but at the same time, can we push the envelope a little bit more in terms of a little bit less camp, a little bit more realistic drama, if that makes any sense. Season 2 is very, very different in terms of the way it's shot, hair, makeup, wardrobe, plot line. The colors are very different, not just figuratively and literally, if that makes any sense. I say this in every interview, it's getting really old, but I think the best way I can describe it is in a very cheesy way back when, I was kind of like, I just came up with this stupid, it's the only thing that came to my mind at the time, but I was like, if season 1 was Sunday brunch, season 2 has got to be like Saturday night, if that makes any sense. Season 1 was very floral and colorful from, the set design to the dresses, and the makeup was very colorful and saturated. The storyline is a lot darker.
So it gets a little more noir, leading that way. That way.
Did I do well?
I really like that.
Thank you.
I think it's spot on. I think you should keep repeating that.
And I think that kind of evolved more and more as we were going along. I think that the script was very different, and then the actors took that and ran with it, and then their performances were very different. And then, like I said, in the differences that I just mentioned. And then, actually, even before that, when our director, Sonia Blanchardot, and our cinematographer, Rod Poitier, sorry, he's French, I had to get that out. Poitier.
The French Canadian.
Poitier. When they sat down for what's called shot plotting, when they kind of figure out how this is going to look, Michael Caruso and I really went all out. I get a lot of bells and whistles for them. And we had like a 50-foot crane. We have a lot of drone shots this season. Flying camera work and things like that. We tried to give them as many toys and bells and whistles to work with as possible. Even the way that the cinematography of this is very different as well. So that was first, but then, like I said, the actors came in and saw the way that the scenes were being shot, the difference in the dialogue and the plot line, and I think that as we were shooting it over the course of the couple of weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, we're watching some of the dailies, the footage that we'd already shot, and we're like, this is kind of taken on a very different look and a very different feel, and then even the music, I think, when Ken Corday and Brent Nelson and his team got together to score this, even they were kind of like, we need something a little bit different with the music. So it's a very different animal. It's not, again, we didn't want to change the brand from the first one, but it's evolved. Let's put it that way.
It went down a great path because we did have time to be more creative and artistic, and it kind of blossomed into this great story.
It's one of those things where we knew what we wanted, but then I think we look back, because you've seen the final cut as well. We watched it and we're like, wow, when you want to be proud of your work, and of course we're all perfectionists here, and the things you could change, but I think we all watch it going like, wow, that's a little bit different than we originally expected, but in a good way.
That's wonderful to hear. And I have to say, when I saw the trailer, I was taken aback because I
Okay,
didn't.
so we agree the trailer is very much like what the season feels like. So if you like the trailer, then that's what you're gonna get. That's not something, the trailer's not pretending to make the season something it's not. So the trailer's very applicable to the actual season.
So there's a little bit of even thriller and surprise going on now.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. Especially, spoiler alert, especially, Marie's scenes are very, I love what you did this season. This is so unlike what you've ever done. Is that fair to say? Yeah. Rob Wilson's, yeah.
So, well, thank you. Thank you for writing such great stuff for
Everybody
me.
just really, I saw colors, because I know a lot of, every single actor in this season, I know their work very well, or at least I like to think I do. And I saw, essences out of all of you that I've never seen before, which I think is really cool.
It was fun. It was just fun to play and have that room for stretching and creativity and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just a great ride.
Now, did you change any things as you went along then, watching how it was evolving?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to leave it at that, though. It is. I think it's in any creative process. I think you have a schematic of where you want to go with something, but then it's actually starting to evolve and bring it to life, and you're like, you know what? Because that happened, we need to change this. That happened a lot, actually.
Which is so great. That's what I love, being open-minded and just playing and exploring and, trying new things, which on a daytime show you don't have. You don't have support for that.
Exactly.
So, which makes it even more fun. So, yeah.
Now, I have to ask you, who is your co-star right now sitting on your lap, Marie?
This is Toby.
Here we go.
He's one of 4 here. The other ones are camera shy, apparently. But yeah, this is Toby.
Well, because I know people will start texting and tweeting back and saying, "Who's sitting on Marie's lap?" And I'll be like, "I don't know."
Yeah, we don't have human production assistants. We have canine around here.
And you did great.
He did very, very well. Yes.
Well, first of all, I know that everybody who I've spoken to is really excited about seeing this, and it's going to be back on Amazon again. Is that correct?
Yes. So June 19th on Amazon Prime. It's called Prime Video now. If you are a Prime member, subscriber, then it's free. If you're not, that's totally okay. You can pay for it, but it's less than $5 for the whole season.
Really? Oh, that I didn't even know that. So if you are not an Amazon Prime member, you still have access to it.
You can still purchase it, absolutely. But if you're a Prime member, it's free.
Wow. So I see myself doing a mini binge watch again already.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh,
But yeah,
absolutely.
we are up and running on Amazon Prime Video.
Now, is there anything else that you might want to tease for us that happens? Because, of course, in the first season, I know each wife had a fascinating moment with their husband to start their moment. I'm trying not to be too spoilerish, even though I'm sure it's not a big secret. Are we going to have some of these crazy moments? Like, is there something we should definitely keep an eye out for?
I'm famous for putting my foot in my mouth, so I'm not even going to go here. There's, yes, I covered it. A lot of different colors, more thriller, action type feels to this one. And if I go any further, I'm going to ruin everything. So we're going to just leave it at that.
You just have to watch. You have to watch. It's good. Take her word for it.
Okay, so Morgan's going to be back, and she's going to be involved now with whoever Rob Wilson's character is, apparently.
Actually, I feel like I need to say this. Like, we're so happy that Marie could make it today, but we obviously wanted more people. But getting people together is like herding kittens. So yeah.
Especially
But I want to throw that out there, exactly. But yes, Marie's back, Miss Morgan, and I will say again, I'm so thrilled with your performance. I'm not just kissing your butt because we're on camera right now. Like, I really, the colors that Marie showed as an actress this year, I've never seen before, and in the best way possible. I really mean that. So, and she's not the only one. I think, like I said before, everybody
did
you're watching the monitors as we were, as they're doing their work, and we're like, okay, it's new, and I love it. So yeah, it's really cool.
Well, as a big fan of soaps as well, as I'm sure you know I am, I've always admired soap actors because you get on a show and you have to just belt it out and have it good once.
I think it's just thank you. It's it's the preparation process is really what it boils down to. I don't think that a lot of people say like soap stars or whatever. I think because they're on a soap opera. But at the end of the day, I think it's just we just have to put more emphasis on the prep time because once we get one is not good or bad, right or wrong, or better than the other. The bottom line is in that particular genre, you have to show up to set like ready to have a finished, polished performance because you don't get the opportunity, and it's nobody's fault. It's just the way it's always been in that genre. So I think that having people that have had extensive experience in that genre, working with them it's a lot easier in a sense because they're like so prepped and ready to go very quickly and like right off the bat. So yeah, it's a joy to work with that when you're on the other side of the camera. When you have somebody that is like they have like a finished performance that you can mold and shape and things like that. So yeah.
Now, if this one is as well received this season as the first, can some of us fans look forward to even the consideration of a further season?
Well, I think that you answered that, your own question, and it's just it's like any other show, prime time or whatnot, that they take it season by season, and they take the technical analytics and how many people watch it, and how many people love it, and all those things. So if people out there would like this to keep going, then spread the word.
Pass it on.
Perform possible. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
This has been great. I'm going to now say goodbye to both of you. If you would just stay with me one moment.
We'll hang out.
And I will say goodbye to all the fans and make sure June 19th your computers are open and ready to download Amazon Prime.
With an Amazon app, that too. You don't have to just watch it on the computer. I just want to throw that.
Oh, of course. And all the wonderful things that you do on smart TV now. This could be a 2-second thing. Just click and go.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Laptop, pad, phone, television, welcome to the future. All right, I'm done. We're good.
Well, on that note, welcome to the future. Carol and Topol Talk will now say goodbye, and thank you so much for both being a part of this day and introducing us to Ladies of the Lake Season 2.
Again, thank you